this product so we can get started with the customizing our custom online store. So if I hit now into customize the theme, it's going to be asking us, or it's going to be sending us directly into the actual theme section. And as you can see, we have a default section that's called Dawn. Usually what people do is to use the Dawn version, but you can change this here directly into the theme library. I'm going to hit into add theme and visit the theme store. The theme store is just like a quick way how it's going to be looking your store with the actual elements. You're going to be seeing different blocks, different text stuff. You can edit that later. So as you can see, we have the explore theme section. And of course, you wanted to focus into a free one. If you wanted to pay for that, that's totally up to you. We're going to be focusing into only the free version. And check it out like a previews of how it's going to be looking your actual elements. We have the spotlight, we have the reverse, we have the ride, the dawn, the taste, the sensed, original studio, and much more. So usually what people do is just to stick around with the most easiest one, which is the actual Dawn version. So in this case, we're going to be sticking around with the actual Dawn, since this one actually is looking really great. So I'm just going to leave this like that. I'm going to go back into my actual dashboard where we actually currently at, which is the Dawn section. So let's go into customize. Inside customize, this is the part, this is like the fun part. We can just get started to actually give life to our actual store. So usually here into the upper side, we have the header, you have the image banner, you have your featured product, and the subscribe to our emails. You can totally change that later. But in my case, I actually use this template because I think it has more than enough in order to get started. I have the home, the catalog, the contact, the name of my store. That will be actually it. So what is left to be done is just to change the elements or to add elements of my company, of my branding and stuff, right? So for example, if I click here into my image banner, I can go into explore image here, free images, or select an image. So usually what I do is to explore free images. And let's say, for example, that I use the word pillow. So here into pillow, I can see that I have a lot of elements that I can use. So for example, I have this one as well. So you can just choose the one that you can think that's actually going to be looking really great. For example, let's say this one, or I can scroll a little bit down and I have, let's see, for example, this one a little bit more like for living and decor and all of that. So if you kind of like this, just hit into select and you're actually good to go. Now in this case, usually what people do with this actual text of browse our latest product, usually they do just leave it like that. And here have the shop all, or let's go for a shop now. So I just leave this like that. I have my featured product and that would be actually it, right? So usually what I do now is to change the actual header. Into the header, you can see that we have the menu of all the elements that we can see. For example, we have the home, we have the catalog, we have the context. So usually I just clicked in there. And now what I do is just to try not to change like a lot, because usually we have all the elements now in here. If you wanted to change, for example, like the header of your logo, what you wanted to do is just to hit into save. And we're going to be changing that actually later. So I just want to make sure that my catalog page is actually looking good. And the contact section, we do have now the contact form. So it's actually looking great. Let's go back into our actual dashboard.